What is a medium? Hey everyone. Today I'm going to tumble down the rabbit hole that is media literacy, and I'm going to kick things off by examining the most fundamental component of communication, and that's the medium or the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Gilbert Ramirez. I've been a communication professional for over 2 decades. If you want to know more, you can Google me. I'm also on LinkedIn and Linktree. Since my hope is to grow this channel into a resource for anyone on their media literacy journey, some of these initial videos will be a kind of communication 101 course for those just starting out. Eventually, I'll move into more sophisticated topics such as media governance, cognitive bias, data collection, dark web tactics, content addiction, and others, but each of those is a rabbit hole in its own right. These initial videos help me level set on some communication terms or concepts that I often hear misused or that are perhaps too narrowly understood. My approach is designed to be an ongoing conversation, similar to a process of self-discovery or self-awareness. So, what's a medium or channel? Sounds simple enough, but you'd be surprised at how much our answers might differ. Today, when someone complains about conservative media or liberal media or media bias or big media, many of us tend to think of broadcast media, internet media, mass media, social media, and that's all true. But to start, I'm going to take a step back and examine the concept of a medium in a broader, more abstract way. Because many of us are immersed in both modern and traditional media platforms, we tend to overlook that these influences are hidden in plain sight, and they're constantly impacting our perceptions and our beliefs. Put simply, a medium is the means by which we share ideas. It's how we transmit, broadcast, or share content. It's how we influence others or how others influence us. Examples: books, billboards, movies, the internet, social media website, gaming platforms, message apps, VR platforms. Sounds easy enough, right? And with this understanding, Michelangelo's fresco on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel is an example of a message, a medium, and a platform. So note, when discussing media literacy, I tend to use the terms message, content, ideas, and information interchangeably. So what kind of ideas do we share through media? Here's my laundry list: education, journalism, misinformation, celebration, propaganda, publicity, artistic expression, advertising, provocation, entertainment, subversion, psychological operations, or otherwise. Part of media literacy is learning to distinguish the difference. What was the earliest form of a medium? Well, if we go back far enough, it was just storytellers, actors, and clergymen like priests. It was just people. In those days, there was no internet, no phones, no broadcast media, and very few books. Traveling to nearby towns could take hours, if not days. Printed materials were scarce, but that didn't matter because most of us couldn't read. So we relied on the interpretations and the translations of our storytellers. From a sociological perspective, cathedrals and theaters were like the internet. We gravitated to them to socialize and learn from others and experience ideas through storytellers. What kinds of ideas? The same as today, just much more localized. These early media channels hosted storytellers who shaped our perceptions and beliefs on critical issues such as news, spirituality, tradition, politics, and social norms. They also served as forums for entertainment and gossip. In this regard, those who owned the media platform had enormous power over the content shared through it. Collectively, these media venues were where we united as a community and developed our shared perspective and our worldview. In this way, our villages and tribes grew into Christian and Jewish, Hindu, Islamic, indigenous, pagan communities or otherwise. Who do we trust for our information? We learn from those around us, those who spoke our language, worshiped as we do, looked like us, behaved and celebrated as we do. We trusted those who shared our identity. God forbid someone wandered in from another town, state, or country. with a different worldview or different opinions. It's likely they would have been viewed negatively or with contempt. When villainized, they would have been accused of corrupting society, undermining the community, or indoctrinating the youth. As examples, people like Galileo, Joan of Arc, Socrates, and Jesus were considered offensive because they held beliefs that went against the official narratives of authorities. Not only were they the messenger, but also the message and the medium. They were demonized as heretics, enemies of the people, subversives, and as such, imprisoned or put to death for their beliefs. So as much as I'd like to dive into medieval forms of media censorship, that's a different rabbit hole. So were early media influencers always unbiased and transparent? The reasons we influence each other haven't changed over the centuries, but the media technology has, and it continues to do so at an accelerated pace. In terms of media influences, what began as outsiders threatening the way of life in isolated communities became broadcast networks, beaming directly into homes and cars from across the country. Then came the internet, which allowed influencers from around the world to stream their ideas to anyone with a connection. Today, the stack technologies that make up the internet are like broadcast media platforms times 50. Over the last few thousand years, we've evolved from storytellers, papyrus, hieroglyphs, and stone carvings to broadcast networks, the internet, and interactive augmented reality eyewear. At some point, I'll make a video highlighting differences between traditional media platforms and modern tech stacks because, as mentioned, those who own those assets have tremendous influence over our cultural and social ideas. What's important to grasp in media literacy isn't just the role media plays in culture and society, but also how it can shape our personal perceptions, biases, perspectives, and beliefs. What's the difference in these terms? That's a different rabbit hole I'll go down in an upcoming video. From a neuroscience perspective, the modern media content we consume can impact our hormones, our emotions, our developmental stages, and our behavior. As with historical content, it can unite us as small communities or divide us as nations. Now that we've level set on the concept of a medium, we can have a much larger conversation about media literacy. What is media literacy? That's the topic of my next video, where I will introduce an easy framework we can use to go down all these related rabbit holes while always mapping the exploration back to ground level. So, whether you're already on your media literacy journey, know someone just starting out, or want to connect and collaborate, hit those links so we can explore together. This has been the Vagary Perspective. Till next time, Diablos.